For a long time, the view of Ireland was one that was formed by foreign film companies that came to Ireland. So we'd no say in how we were represented on screen. We had American and British and European people making films here and presenting the Irish stories, or using Ireland just as a locality. Certainly in the 20s it was still an infant industry, and sound didn't come in until the late 20s. So the majority of the big cinemas and the established cinemas didn't get built until the 30s.
We got our own way of going, being able to cycle or that, you know. But to go from home now, here it would have been very unusual, because transport would have been the principal problem anyway. You weren't going to take up money and trap to go into the cinema.
Certain cinemas were associated with certain parts of town and with certain divides of the community.
We got in very cheap as children. We got in for 4p. So we'd go to the matinee, we'd rush home from school and get down and get in cheap to the matinee. It was great fun, a great thrill in those days.
People with less money went to the flea pits, as we called them, because you ran in and you came out walking. And people then with money would have gone to the more established cinemas, which also in some cases were concert venues as well, like the Coliseum, which is now the Beltane. As a popular pastime, it was very well supported by the local populace, but particularly then from the 30s on with sound, and it really mushroomed.
In those days, if you came out of the film with red eyes, you were crying, you enjoyed it. That was common in those days. We loved romantic things.
There to alter, it's go where you like, you're there always the same. And if ever you're wanting a right hearty welcome, just come to the sweet little...
Well, in the 20s and even before that, you would have had the Film Company from America came here, and they filmed in Killarney just before the First World War. In the 20s you would have had filmmakers in Ireland, films like Irish Destiny. At least 20% of the films shown in the cinemas had to be of British origin, and some of those films were actually made in Ireland in the early 30s, including some of the people that worked on Voice of Ireland. It was considered a travelogue with music interludes, and I know it's hard to imagine now in 2006, but to an audience in 1932-33, to see your locality and your friends and your neighbours on film on a big screen was, you know, it must have been just overwhelming for some of them.
Colonel Haddick, he was a medium-sized man with knickerbockers and a cap. And very straight back. He made a film then of the hurling match down at the graveyard. But he wanted all old men.
Jack O'Donoghue was asked to do some pigeon shooting, as it was part of the local pastime and the rural pastime as well. So we went up to the cornfield anyway, and a pigeon rose and I think he missed the first two, and he got the third one. The bird was already dead, and he was to throw the bird out from behind the stalk of corn in order to provide the shooting. But he was being warned before he went up not to emerge from behind the stalk of corn until he got permission. But he walked straight out from behind the stalk of corn after throwing the bird. And of course, that destroyed that particular film because it showed that it wasn't a genuine flight on the part of the bird. So it was repeated, and he did exactly the same thing the next time. So I finally got it right anyway on the third shot. But of course it was the talk of the day anyway, and of course the laugh of the day as well, you know. My most vivid memory would be the dancing platform. The platform would have been just in there, I'd say.
Una O'Rourke, who was an Irish step dancer, and the Thomond Feis was on at that time, and she won the Thomond Feis championship, and she was pictured dancing on a platform.
She came out dancing to see all the people around and all the young fellas. We were young fellas around, we were near the platform. And someone gave me a shove and I was in the middle of it, shoved into the middle of it. Yeah.
Because we're an island nation and we're known for our you know, the tourist view of Ireland, with its, you know, lovely scenery, and that filmmakers obviously couldn't ignore that, and they used that to great advantage. Those characteristics carried through Irish films for a long time, where you had you know, background footage, music, Irish music was featured prominently. The general public, you know, they were seeing Irish stories, Irish characters up on the big screen, which was, you know, amazing for them because they'd been fed a diet of American and British films, and now they were seeing their own people speaking in their own language and singing and hearing their own music on screen. So for them it was groundbreaking.
I didn't see her very much. She was kind of away in the distance. Frances O'Toole sang Silent O'Moyle, and she was a spectre in the distance in a beautiful gown, but you just saw an outline of her. But she was a beautifully trained singer, but she never sang professionally, except in the Voice of Ireland, as far as I remember. Willie Gleeson, he sang a song, As I Wandered Down the Old Boreen, and Mary Begley was walking along with her black and white cocker spaniel, and he sang it to her, and they sat on a stone wall, and he finished the song and then he kissed her. And in those days that was really romantic.
It was on a summer's evening in the merry month of May. I was coming from the fair of Cappamore. I was driving home a pair of purty heifers by the way.
Now, Kate Muldoon would have been written about the turn of the 1900s, 1800s into the 1900s. And it's about a young farmer coming from a fair in Cappamore, which is about 16 miles from here. He met Kate Muldoon, a young girl, and she seems to have been a beauty, and he fell in love with her. And he used to come to visit her and ramble down the Old Boreen here, and that's what the song is about.
I love to ramble down the Old Boreen, where the hawthorn blossoms are in bloom, and to sit by the gate on an old mossy seat, whispering to Kate Muldoon. whispering to Kate Muldoon.
I was in school and I was told I'd have to stay back. So I thought I was back for something I didn't know. But anyhow, I was put into this car with these two gentlemen, and I was coming near O'Brien's or Hayes' now. I got into the car and coming to this house at the bend of the road, a thatched house with the stone outside the door, and they asked me what was the name of it, and I said it was Dan Murphy's. So I was told to say that, like. But anyhow, the stone was in at the door, but the stone had to be brought out outside the gate for the picture to be made, and my grandmother was in the chair, and Willie Ruttall was cycling up and down in front in a penny farthing bicycle.
When you consider Voice of Ireland would have been a landmark film when you look at the whole history of cinema in Ireland, because it was one of the first sound films.
And the tourist trophy race is of international importance. It provides thrills all the way over a hard course of 410 miles.
But certainly with Voice of Ireland it was local people all concerned and working here, and it had broad appeal then for the populace then in not just Limerick where it was filmed, and in Northern Ireland. And it had Richard Hayward, who was a big star at the time, big singing star.
I saw the film in the Grand Central Cinema in Bedford Row. It's now called Bedford Row. It's all under reconstruction now. But that was way back when I was about 10 or 11. I got a great kick out of it because I knew so many people and saw the feis and saw the dancers, and maybe I was one of the competitors myself at the time.
I did. I went to see the film, and I went with Sheehan's down here. I went the car hired for to go to the film, and it was at the Grand Central that film was shown first.
And they gave a special showing of it afterwards in the old Athenaeum cinema in Cecil Street. And there was a special bus ran from Mungret. My mother took us in there to see this. This was probably maybe about a month afterwards, you know, or less. So there was not a big crowd there that night. Everyone
in Limerick was crazy about it. They were so proud of it, to have it filmed in their own area.
Because an unusual experience at that time, I suppose still is, for local people to see themselves on a film, you know.
But I didn't know a lot of people that was in that picture.
Now, I'm an octogenarian, and all that's there now is terror, sex, and force, whereas in the old days it was all romance and music, and much more entertainment. Well, maybe it's my age group too, but that's the way I feel today. I enjoy the cinemas long ago better than I do now. Life was different.
We should be recording more of these elderly people, because they have great stories to tell. And reading all the reviews and all the newspaper clippings just doesn't quite give you the picture of what exactly happened and how important it was in their lives at that time.
God be with them days.